Throughout history, religions across cultures have tried to explain life's biggest questions: why we're here, what happens when we die, and how to live meaningfully. Yet, as we've evolved, many have begun to see flaws in certain traditional religious teachings, gaps in logic and constraints that seem to limit rather than liberate. Many people are raised within these frameworks from birth, seldom questioning their inherited beliefs. But what if these teachings are only part of a bigger picture? Our world has entered a time where faith and reason need to coexist, where spiritual exploration should involve not only belief, but also discernment, thinking critically about what might be true, symbolic, or intended to guide rather than define. The rise of quantum physics and fractal mathematics now offers clues that point to a creator or a creative force, something beyond our physical universe. These theories propose that our universe may be more of a sophisticated, interconnected matrix, something incredibly real, yet composed of light and energy rather than solid matter. In this sense, biblical references to light, for example, can be viewed through a new lens. Our reality might be fundamentally rooted in a divine matrix of light, an intelligent design. Understanding this concept doesn't negate existence, it expands it. It suggests we are a part of a purposeful, beautifully orchestrated reality that invites us to seek truth and growth. It challenges us to raise the next generation to think, question, and expand beyond what has been handed down without discernment. From the earliest days, as we're given a name, a culture, and often a religion, we're placed within an identity that shapes our worldview and sense of purpose. But should we accept this identity without question? What if this perspective is too narrow? For humanity to truly progress, it's essential that we open our minds. Rather than passively accept belief systems, we should explore what resonates with our inner truth, grounded in both wisdom and experience. Instead of being confined to a box, such an approach isn't a rejection of faith, but an evolution of it. Humanity can step outside these boundaries and view existence as a journey that involves continuous learning, curiosity, and a connection to the unknown, a connection that has roots in every culture and religion. In exploring the depth of our existence, we discover that the essence of this reality is far more expansive than any single perspective or teaching can capture. The ancient mysteries, often hidden in metaphors and parables, reveal that the creator or divine spark exists beyond our physical world. These mysteries propose that we inhabit a light-based matrix, a complex, intentional creation that intertwines spirit and matter. The concept of a fractal holographic matrix implies that each part of reality reflects the whole, suggesting a divine blueprint behind everything we experience. This isn't to say that our world lacks substance. Rather, it suggests that our world is an immersive creation composed of energy and light, as ancient spiritual traditions have long taught. The biblical phrase, "In the beginning was the Word," can be reinterpreted as a reference to vibration, frequency, or energy, the forces that may have collapsed potential into form, bringing this dimension into existence. This exploration calls us to awaken, to see the purpose of life as a series of meaningful experiences designed for growth. Too often, people are confined by inherited beliefs and traditions, which may serve to reinforce limited views rather than encourage exploration. Inherited faiths and cultural teachings can be valuable guides, but should not become cages. Instead, we should raise the next generation to ask questions, seek broader truths, and nurture their spiritual intuition. From the earliest moments of life, we're often immersed in rituals that attach us to certain ideologies. While these practices can offer comfort and identity, they can also imprint specific beliefs onto our psyche, creating a framework that is seldom questioned. However, when we examine these beliefs through the lens of wisdom and reason, we might find contradictions, gaps, or omissions which can lead to deeper questions about the essence of spiritual truth. Most religions have tried to provide answers, yet many of these teachings also contain inherent limitations. Often, what we call faith may rest on interpretations that were adapted over time to fit certain narratives. But if we're to experience the fullest expression of life, it may be essential to see beyond these narratives and find our own understanding. one that is anchored in both inner truth and universal wisdom. In our journey through religious teachings, we often find narratives that depict deities as beings from beyond this world. By definition, anything not originating from Earth could be considered alien. For instance, Christian scripture describes Jesus as saying, "I am not of this world," which suggests an origin beyond the physical realm of Earth. Such references lead us to question, could some revered figures be perceived as cosmic beings, guiding us from a higher, perhaps otherworldly perspective? Across different religions, there are references to beings descending from realms beyond Earth to impart knowledge, comfort, or even warnings. These are often depicted as angels or divine messengers with wisdom and powers that set them apart from humanity. For example, in Islam, the Prophet Muhammad is visited by the angel Gabriel, who imparts sacred knowledge. Hinduism speaks of divine beings like devas, residing in celestial realms yet influencing life on Earth. If we view these figures through a broader lens, they appear as entities from beyond, impacting our world with messages that seem timeless, bridging the human experience with the cosmic. While this perspective might sound unconventional, it aligns with descriptions found across ancient texts and traditions. The term alien may not fully capture these beings' nature, but it hints at the idea of their being from another place, and the presence of wisdom that transcends our earthly experience. One thing becomes clear. Through these ancient stories and figures, humanity has always sought a connection with something greater, something transcendent. These teachings encourage us to look within, to explore our relationship with the universe, and to recognize that divinity might be both within and beyond us. The wisdom of ancient mystery schools emphasized this idea, teaching initiates how to connect with the source energy. In these traditions, those who were truly ready, known as adepts, were shown methods for tapping into a universal force, often described as light or the Force. In ancient Kemet or Egypt, practitioners known as the Jedi were said to wield this power for balance and harmony. George Lucas drew on these archetypes when creating his famed Jedi Knights in Star Wars, those who protect the light. This universal force existing in all of us has been described in countless traditions as the divine spark or prana. It is said to permeate every atom, every living being, and every corner of the universe. We're surrounded by it, breathe it, and can connect to it with awareness. The ancient wisdom keepers believed this energy could be used for enlightenment and peace, though some eventually began to misuse it, leading to a divergence between those who pursued light and those who were drawn to darkness. The division between light and dark, depicted in countless stories, is symbolic of an inner choice. Just as those in ancient Egypt once understood this universal power, modern teachings suggest that each person has access to the force within. This energy can be harnessed for growth and healing, or if misused, can lead to discord. Recognizing this dual potential can help us move forward, fostering a deep connection to our world and a sense of unity with all creation. Many world religions have spread through history by various means, not always through peaceful methods. Take, for instance, the expansion of Christianity and Islam. In several instances, these religions were spread not by choice but by force, with populations converted through methods that often involved violence and oppression. Forced conversions have led to generations inheriting beliefs and practices that originated from coercion rather than spiritual choice. Consider Egypt, once a flourishing center of ancient knowledge and religious traditions. After the fall of Rome, it became part of the Byzantine Empire, only to be later conquered by Muslim Arabs in 641 AD. This conquest led to a significant shift in the cultural and spiritual landscape of Egypt. Over centuries, Arabic replaced Egyptian languages, and Islam became the dominant faith. Yet, this transformation came at a cost. The history of forced conversions in Egypt, particularly in Coptic Christian communities, reflects a painful journey. The ancient temples and hieroglyphic texts, now largely foreign to the Egyptian people, are remnants of a time when their ancestors worshipped differently, a stark reminder of how religious dominance reshaped their culture. The same has occurred in other parts of the world. For example, in Mexico, Catholicism took hold not by gentle introduction, but by the toppling of ancient indigenous traditions. Spanish conquistadors arrived with the cross in one hand and the sword in the other. Ancient pyramids were destroyed or repurposed as the foundation for new churches. Indigenous languages and belief systems were suppressed, and generations of native people grew up identifying more with Spanish culture than with their own ancestral roots. Today, many who identify as Mexican might not realize that their lineage is more connected to the Mayans and Aztecs than to Spanish settlers. This pattern isn't isolated. Throughout history, religious expansion has often involved cultural erasure, with entire communities adopting the faith and language of the conquerors. Over time, the original beliefs and languages were nearly lost. Today, indigenous groups fight to preserve these fragments of their heritage, passing down sacred stories, rituals, and even languages to prevent them from disappearing entirely. It's essential to understand that these historical events have lasting impacts. Many individuals today may carry ancestral traumas encoded within them, passed down from ancestors who endured these forced conversions. This influence is what's referred to as epigenetic memory, a kind of cellular memory where the experiences of our ancestors can shape our mental and emotional landscape today. Understanding this history allows us to see why certain spiritual beliefs are so deeply ingrained in cultures worldwide. This is not about judgment, but recognizing how significant forces have shaped our global religious landscape. Many people today feel an intrinsic pull towards spirituality as a response to this historical narrative, seeking a direct connection with the divine, rather than accepting beliefs passed down by conquerors or enforced by institutions. Religious influence is pervasive, and in the modern world, this reach often extends into politics. Religion can significantly impact policies, laws, and social norms, with leaders aligning themselves with religious ideologies to sway public opinion. In the United States, for example, many political figures prominently reference Christian values in their campaigns, despite the actual application of these values being questionable. This creates a complex relationship between religious belief and governance, often leading to selective representation of religious ideals to maintain influence and control. Religion, when intertwined with political power, can lead to favoritism and inequality. For instance, financially powerful religious groups may have the means to influence laws in their favor, marginalizing other groups. While religion could ideally foster unity and compassion, in practice, it frequently contributes to societal divides, with individuals using religious justification for exclusion or discrimination. This control mechanism, sometimes referred to as divide and conquer, has persisted for millennia. In many religious settings, those who question or step outside traditional doctrines face judgment or ostracism. For instance, Jehovah's Witnesses impose strict guidelines where those who diverge from the beliefs, whether by pursuing higher education or choosing a different path, can face excommunication. This approach, observed across many denominations, often enforces conformity through fear, creating a culture of rigid adherence rather than personal spiritual growth. Historically, such practices also perpetuated gender inequality. For centuries, women were excluded from participating fully in religious services or leadership roles. Only recently have many faith traditions allowed women to take on leadership positions, but even this progress is gradual and limited. Religion, rather than promoting a sense of connected spirituality, often enforces conformity through doctrines that sometimes contradict the essence of spirituality. True spirituality transcends dogmatic restrictions, offering a path of self-discovery and direct connection with the divine that isn't mediated by rules or institutions. It emphasizes the importance of individual responsibility, compassion, and a sense of unity with all life, a stark contrast to the societal and hierarchical structures that many religious institutions uphold. Spirituality encourages us to connect with our higher selves, nurturing qualities like love, compassion, patience, and forgiveness. It fosters personal accountability where actions are guided by a sense of inherent connection and unity rather than enforced laws. Spiritual practices aim to cultivate inner peace, empathy, and an authentic pursuit of wisdom. This path doesn't require external validation or ritualistic adherence, but instead invites individuals to seek understanding within, fostering resilience and personal growth. In spirituality, the divine isn't viewed as an external force demanding allegiance, but as an integral part of our being. It's about recognizing the light within ourselves and others, cultivating a way of life that is in harmony with the universe. Where religious dogma often emphasizes faith in a separate entity, spirituality invites us to experience a direct, personal connection with the divine essence within. Spirituality offers a path that focuses on the internal and interconnected aspects of human experience, distinguishing it sharply from conventional religion. While religion may be steeped in ritual, theology, and strict teachings, spirituality emphasizes qualities such as love, empathy, tolerance, and forgiveness. It encourages us to take responsibility for our actions, foster compassion, and cultivate an inner sense of peace and wholeness. In spirituality, the focus isn't on a prescribed set of beliefs, but on a deeper connection to life itself, a connection to the universe, the divine, and our own inner truth. It's a journey rooted in self-awareness, personal growth, and a commitment to living authentically. Spirituality asks us to embrace life as sacred, to live in the present, and to find purpose in our actions. For those who embrace spirituality, personal accountability becomes a guiding principle. Unlike some religious frameworks that allow for the absolution of sin through intermediaries, spirituality invites individuals to take ownership of their choices. This approach nurtures growth, as each individual acknowledges their impact on the world around them and seeks to live in harmony with higher ideals. The focus is not on external validation, but on developing a genuine relationship with one's own spirit and the world. This perspective also transforms how one approaches forgiveness and compassion. Rather than seeking external approval, spiritual individuals strive to embody these qualities as part of their personal path. They understand that each moment of kindness, tolerance, and peace contributes to a life of fulfillment, where the essence of one's spirit aligns with the greater good. At its core, spirituality is about living with intention and embracing an inner light that transcends the physical world. It's not constrained by doctrines or rituals. Rather, it is a way of being that sees all life as interconnected. This philosophy encourages individuals to access the divine power within, fostering a world where compassion and understanding thrive over division and judgment. As we continue to explore the distinctions between spirituality and religion, it's essential to recognize how each path influences one's approach to life and relationships with others. Religion often emphasizes adherence to a specific set of doctrines, which may provide comfort and structure, but can also foster division. This adherence can lead to the belief that one's path is superior, creating an us versus them mentality that distances individuals from one another. Spirituality, however, emphasizes unity and inclusivity. It encourages the understanding that all individuals are connected by a common thread and that the divine presence exists within each of us. This perspective shifts the focus from religious competition and judgment to a shared journey of growth, where each person's experience is valid and meaningful. In spirituality, there is no hierarchy or chosen group. Rather, every soul is seen as equal, deserving of love and respect. Moreover, spirituality empowers individuals to seek truth within themselves, rather than relying solely on external authorities. It teaches that enlightenment is a personal journey, one that requires introspection, meditation, and a willingness to confront inner truths. This self-driven exploration fosters resilience and encourages a lifelong commitment to self-improvement, as spirituality is seen as a continuous process of growth rather than a destination. This approach to spirituality promotes a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment. When individuals are encouraged to find meaning in their own lives, they become less reliant on external validation and more focused on cultivating inner harmony. This leads to a life driven by purpose, where actions are aligned with one's core values and the pursuit of happiness is grounded in authenticity. Spirituality's emphasis on personal growth and interconnectedness offers a pathway to a fulfilling and balanced life. It provides a perspective that is not bound by dogma, but guided by universal truths that transcend cultural and religious boundaries. Through this lens, Spirituality becomes not just a belief system, but a way of life that enriches the soul, connects us with others, and aligns us with the divine source within. In exploring the impact of spirituality on daily life, we see that it fosters a genuine sense of responsibility for one's own actions. Unlike certain interpretations of religious doctrine that allow for the absolution of sins through rituals or confessions, spirituality calls for accountability. It acknowledges that every action we take influences our journey and that of others around us. Taking responsibility is an essential part of spiritual growth. Rather than shifting blame or seeking external forgiveness, spirituality asks us to look within, to understand the motives behind our actions and to make amends where needed. This accountability fosters compassion and empathy as we begin to see the ripple effects of our choices on the world around us. When we accept responsibility for our own actions, we cultivate a life grounded in integrity and personal growth. This practice also aligns with the belief that we are co-creators of our reality. Each thought, each action, and each intention holds the power to shape our experience. With this understanding, spirituality becomes a journey of conscious creation, empowering us to live mindfully and purposefully. By focusing on love, compassion, and positive intention, we can transform our inner and outer worlds, leading to a life that reflects our highest potential. Spirituality's emphasis on self-responsibility and conscious living encourages a shift from passive acceptance to active engagement. Rather than adhering to dogma, spirituality fosters a sense of agency, where each individual plays an active role in their personal development. This empowerment leads to a life that is not only fulfilling, but also aligned with a greater purpose, a purpose that transcends material desires and focuses on the growth of the soul. This approach contrasts with traditional religious practices, where the focus is often on obedience to established doctrine. In spirituality, however, growth is not limited by rigid boundaries. It is a dynamic journey fueled by curiosity, compassion, and a commitment to continual evolution. This path allows each individual to explore and integrate universal truths in a way that resonates deeply with their own unique essence. Through this perspective, spirituality becomes a path of liberation, freeing individuals from external validation and allowing them to discover the divine within. It calls us to connect with the source of all creation, embracing a sense of unity that transcends the limitations of belief, culture, and tradition. In this unity, we find a deeper sense of purpose, one that aligns with the cosmic order and guides us towards true fulfillment. The profound difference between spirituality and religion becomes clearer when we look at their core values and approach to personal evolution. While religion often revolves around the adherence to specific doctrines, spirituality emphasizes personal growth, inner peace, and a direct connection to the divine. Spirituality encourages us to see beyond traditional concepts, guiding us toward a life that reflects our true nature and purpose. One significant aspect of spirituality is the journey of self-discovery. In a spiritual path, understanding oneself is paramount. This exploration allows us to recognize our strengths, confront our fears, and transcend limitations. Through meditation, reflection, and mindful practices, spirituality helps us cultivate a relationship with our higher self. This connection fosters resilience, clarity, and a profound sense of inner peace, qualities that enrich our lives and relationships. In contrast, many religious teachings emphasize obedience to external rules and the authority of religious institutions. While these structures can provide guidance, they may also discourage personal inquiry and growth. The reliance on external validation can limit one's ability to tap into their inner wisdom. Spirituality, however, removes these barriers, allowing for a direct, unmediated relationship with the divine and with oneself. Spirituality also offers a unique perspective on life's purpose. It teaches that every individual is part of a greater whole, connected to the universe and each other through an intricate web of energy. This belief fosters a sense of unity and responsibility, inspiring us to live in harmony with nature and humanity. Rather than striving to fulfill societal or religious expectations, spirituality calls us to align with our authentic path, contributing to the well-being of the world around us. Another critical distinction lies in the approach to morality. In spirituality, moral values are not imposed by external laws, but arise naturally from compassion, empathy, and the desire to do good. This internal compass encourages us to act from a place of love and understanding rather than fear of punishment. By fostering a heart-centered approach, spirituality empowers individuals to make ethical choices that honor their inner truth and contribute to a more compassionate world.